Okay, so I mean, I won't be long because we're quite a small crowd, so there's probably not going to be many questions. The way I do my talks is please shout out with questions as we go. So, what is a security? Oh, who am I? I really should start off with that. I start this off because I have this imposter syndrome. You should look at me going, how on earth do I know anything about what I'm talking about? And that's fair. So I will try and convince people that I do know what I'm talking about. I was for ever such a long time a C and C++, embedded software. Embedded software. No, okay, yeah, it may be a little bit niche, but we use it all everywhere. And then I was working for a company and they really did security. And the way they got loads of security engineers, and importantly, lots of women security engineers, which at the time was like, wow, how did you get a women security engineer? Is because they grew their own. So they gave training to everybody, and those people that actually looked like they were enjoying it, because not everybody does. They kept feeding more and more and more until you give in and say, okay, I really like security. I want to do more of it. So that was me. So so that's why I am here today. So over the years, I took more and more interest. So I am a leader for the Threat Dragon project. I can't remember if you've come across Threat Dragon. Oh, man. Oh, again. So maybe I should not admit to being a leader on the Threat Dragon because you're going to say, why does it do this? I'm also a leader of the Developer Guide project. I sort of mentioned that one. It was 22 years it was started. I'd only come on it the last 3 years because it was languishing a bit. So that's who I am. Hopefully you think I know what I'm talking about. Now, if we're going to talk about security champions, we've got to talk about Secure Development LifeCycle. Because if we do not set the context, you go, why would I want a security champion? And that's a very valid question. In fact, shout it out. Why would we want one? So this is, I was just noting down, this is a notional software development lifecycle that is secure. Okay, I put it like that. Every development team has a software development lifecycle. The secure software development lifecycle is not separate. It's always just incorporated into the normal limits. So we start off with security requirements. This is often from architects. You might, depends what company you're working in. Some large companies have security architects, but actually all developers know about security. And all developers can come up with security requirements, like you've got to authenticate before you can use it. I think you should have a password. You know, it sounds simple, security requirements. Third-party libraries. Oh, dependency help. Yes, okay. We'll skip over that, but you know, how much time do we spend on that? Far too much. Secure coding. What I mean by this is we generally do secure coding training to developers. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Go on, shout out.
Be proactive.
Yes, brilliant. Yes, it's encouraging developers to think about security. So, but it also has the side effect or the other effect of teaching about security in usually a fun way. So, yeah. So that's pretty good. It's often overlooked, it's often expensive, but well worth it. Static application security testing. Oh my. Anybody running a static tool? They're so noisy. Yes. Why are they so noisy? We have to do it. usually, I mean, when anybody says, why do we have to do it? I say usually for compliance. Oh, I know. Should I have said that online being recorded? It's also very valuable as well. Yeah, convincing. Okay, never mind. Dynamic application security testing, that's actually when you're running it in real life or roughly in real life. Anybody know what I mean by that? So you've got the system running, you're actually hitting it with security tests, or you're fuzzing it, say. You all know what fuzzing is. You take valid inputs to your system. Here's my password, here's my username. And then you start the mangling it. You see how long, how short it can be. And you can do that manually, but it's short. So you usually get fuzzing applications. Yeah. So that's just an example of dynamic application security verification. Do we know we're doing it? We do it. Because at some point you say, I asked for a password to be input. Why did I ask for a password? And then you go, and have I done it? And then there's your verification of what you've been doing. You know, did you do the requirements? And then pen testing. We just do it. We have to do it again. You guys got pen testers coming in to do your projects? Yeah.
External and some in-house knowledge.
Yeah. So it can be internal pen testing, I agree, which is a lot cheaper than external pen testing. Often we need both. I mean, we do both. But of course, it helps. Ping is an authentication and authorization. So we're on front line. Everybody wants to break us. If you break us, you can be anybody. So think of that. So yeah, we take security engineering, security lifecycle real seriously. And this is the security engineer's job, correct? No, good, thank you. I'm glad you shook your head. How nice it would be if we had a legion of security engineers just lining up, clamoring at the gates to do all this work. We have, let's hella. Now, why did I say let's hella? I think it's a European phrase. We would probably say Marmite. So security engineers are scraped thin on top of the text. But a ratio of security engineers to other people in the company, you're lucky if you've got 1 to 200. So the ping, we've actually got quite a few more than that, but it's not like loads of us, you know. So that's the desired ratio, I know. So if you've got a company of 2,000, you've got, if you're lucky, 10 security engineers. I know, that's not a lot. How many developers have you probably got? 2,000 tech company, 600 developers, 1 security engineer to 60. They can't do all of that stuff. So, and you know, if it's small and medium, you're going to have less. It's 1 to 500 if you're really unlucky. We are still hard to come by. It's improving. All the analysis is saying it's not enough of us, and they can't practice. And CVEs, common vulnerability enumeration. So you know what those are. So say I have an application, a library, click publish, and it's got a vulnerability that we think can be exploited. The good thing to do there is do responsible disclosure. So you get fixed in place, and then you put it into this database run by Mindshare or still run by that's right. And they're increasing. And there's thousands per year. I can't remember, is it 25,000 this year?
They take up a lot of time on maintenance.
Yeah. The good thing there is actually only about 5% have been exploited. But you go, but there's thousands. So that still means there's hundreds. You go, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So, but so I think this is my opinion that if this was a war, then we're not winning yet. Yes, that's how that we're thin. We're spread on the ground, spread too thinly on the ground, and also it's getting worse. So that's why security champions arose. I think that I first started hearing security champions about 12, 15 years ago. So it's been around a while. I know we do the Rita in Pink have a security champions program. Security champions program, superb, well done.
We just have a few people that are kind of, the full-time security people. They're not really a thing to devolve that to one person within a team. It's meant to be that everyone does it. But I guess you'll tell us how you best
exactly. So yes, no, I agree. So your experiences are probably typical. Having a security champions program in place, superb, but maybe not very many. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll explain what a security champion is because we're interested. So it's usually from the development team itself. So you're developing a product. There's people that know lots about that product, and you might find people within that team that actually quite like security. Those are the people you home in on. And you say, how would you like to be a security champion? Would you like to be one? But it doesn't have to be a developer, QA, product manager. They're pretty good security champions, interesting, a lot of say in the product. And the idea behind the security champion is that they're the bridge between the development team and security team. So security team really tiny, development teams, lots of them, quite large. So the security team needs, in effect, a point of contact, if you like. Usually they talk to everybody, but actually if there's a point of contact, then that security champion is really useful. You go, there's a problem, I know the person to talk to. And we, in a fully functioning security champions program, you give them training, okay? Because they can't do it alone. They're not sort of psychic. They need training. They need to know what security is, how to talk to the security team, how to do stuff like dynamic application security testing. So we call them a knowledgeable evangelist. They love it. This is the perfect case. This is the perfect security champion. They love it. They preach it to the dev team. They are the friendly face of the security team, and it works. And it does work often. Very often. No, not before. But I don't want to get to the however just yet. So you need a security champions program in place because you can't just do this and hope for good work from developer security champion. That lasts about a week before they realize that they've taken on something they know nothing about. That's far too much in addition to their normal stuff. Suddenly they're drowning and they're surrounded by security people who are talking a language they're unfamiliar with. They sort of understand. So that's why there is a security champions manifesto, and it lays out the basis for a security champions program. And we follow this as well. Okay? We do. So we're looking for people passionate about security. The program itself has to start out with a very clear vision. Otherwise, if you just go, I want a security champions program, I don't know what it is, that's doomed. And it happens more often than not. You need executive support right from the top, because without that, again, it's doomed. If you're just doing it all by yourselves without money, you do need staff, security, quite highly trained security staff, run your Security Champions program. So suddenly you're investing your precious staff in a program and you've not seen the benefits of it yet. So that's why you really need executive buy-in. You say, it's painful now. You've got trust champions. That's just, you've got to create a community of champions because it's self-help as well. It can feel really isolated being a security champion. I know it's for a few years in my previous life. I was a security champion. I'll come on to that later. You've got knowledge sharing. It's hard. You need some way of getting them together, self-help, but also sharing from the security team to the security champions, and so on. You can imagine this is quite a lot of stuff you've got to put in before you get to creating security champions. And that's the hurdle. It's expensive, and that's why I think usually it's larger companies that find it easier. Smaller companies, of course they do. Right. Have I got any questions on the chat? Right. Oh, yeah. Actually, I've probably done it already. What is security champion? We roll them in with training. You can train the security. That's good, isn't it? Could be lucrative. Conferences. Everybody likes conferences. Interesting talks, beers. What we ask, so that's the carrot. The second one is what we ask for the security champion. Can we just sort of, you just got to make sure all this stuff that the security engineers, you thought the security engineers were going to do, you just make sure that all that happens in your team. You can do that, can't you? Yes. And actually, it does work at times because I think that's where I came from. Like, I used to work at a company, I think I mentioned earlier, where if you showed interest, they trained you. If you showed more interest, they trained you. They had a ladder. It was the Ninja program, but it was basically a security champions program where you go up seniority and then you start becoming involved in organizing security conferences and stuff. And it's just that, if you show interest, if you actually want to do it, they'll grant you and train you. And I think at the time when I left, I think we had, I can't quite remember, I think it was 35% thereabouts were women, which I know is less than 50, but we're talking security engineering. So it was pretty good. Okay, so have I convinced you that security champions are great and it's no problems? Okay. Can anything go wrong? Can anybody shout out? What do you reckon? Can anything go wrong? I would say a lot. And people on the call, you probably are all nodding because I can't see you on the screen. So what can go wrong? And here we are. These are the things, these are just the ones that came off the top of my head when I was creating this presentation. It's tough. I found it tough, and I was highly supported in the company that I was working with as a security champion. You've got your day job. You've got all that development work, all that QA work. Still to do. Nobody says it's all right. You can half of that take away from you. None of it. Maybe, but it doesn't happen in real life. So you've got an added load on whoever is a security champion. The other thing is they tend to be highly sought after, which is slightly embarrassing because you've trained this person. They're qualified. You often train them with qualifications, as all my qualifications in security come from that time. And they're knowledgeable in a domain that is sought after. So what do you think might happen? Indeed, they've got highly transferable skills. And that's one way of drawing them in. that you've got to retain. They're self-selecting, so people are drawn to get anybody have this experience. You meet somebody, they say, I want to be a security engineer because I love it. I'm new to it, I love it, I'm going to do it, and you go, it's expensive, you know, you've got all this training and it's not cheap, and you're sending conferences, that's not cheap. For sure, not e-commerce. So, getting towards that was the context. I know, I was, how long have I gone on for just context? Oh, fine. So, so what I did here is I said, okay, what is a security champion in a paragraph? And that's that top point. You can sort of agree with that or discuss it, but no. The security champion makes sure all those tasks are done correctly. Each one of them is important. You know, the secure coding training, the static analysis, and then you've got to do it. But there's the problems I said before. So hey, let's change it up. Let's have a notional security champion that actually everybody contributes to within development. How does this? And everybody goes, that doesn't work at all. What are you talking about? That's like saying, let's split up product security, product management. That's better. Split up product management, and everybody's a product manager within the dev team. That doesn't work. But I would argue, and this is what I'd like to suggest, is that if you took all those tasks and said, okay, who's interested in secure coding? And you might find that the one person actually said, I really like training. You go, great. So you are a security champion for secure coding. Just that one. And then you might say, does anybody like testing stuff? And the QA guy says, or person says, oh, actually, yeah, that's what I do. And I'm quite interested in dynamic test application security testing. I hated all the rest, but I quite like the dynamic. And you go, well, how about you be security champion for dynamic application security testing? And they go, okay, that's right. It's not too onerous. That's right. So you can see how that this is working or attempting to work. So all those activities that we were putting on one person's shoulders, let's split them up. Because one of the things we don't like doing in security, and you will come across this everywhere, is we don't believe in security heroes. There's no hero. Don't be a hero. Don't flog yourself to death. Don't be the only person that knows about security. That's counter security. That's bad security. So we don't want, in a way, a security champion sounds a bit like a security hero. No, bit, you know. So we, in a way, it's counter to what we really should be looking for. Retaining talent, I feel bad about saying this, but if you don't train one individual so highly, they become less transferable. Sorry, individual. I mean, you do know a lot, but it doesn't have that breadth of knowledge that a single security champion would have. So maybe you can retain their talent in the company that they love working for. Yeah, so that's good. Hey, it's a lot easier if it's all sharing amongst the team. There's less. Why is that person that invented training getting me to go to conferences and I've not been to conferences yet? Okay, there's sort of desire for equitable training, to spread it out. And this is where I'd say, well, you know, to be honest, security is everybody's responsibility in a team. And so that's what I mean by distributed security champion. discuss, and there lies the discussion, because this goes counter to against what we actually do suggest for security champion programs. But I think, distributed security champion sounds better than centralized security champion. Thank you. You're nodding. So it could catch on. And that's the end of my talk. I think. There we go.